Well, it's not your game. You didn't make the rules, so everything comes hard. And as long as you're signed to a contract, you're going to take a minority share of the winnings.
It's been, the record companies really, really do conspire against their artists. They steal, they cheat, they do whatever they can, especially the black artists.
I've never said this publicly. When the news came that Michael had died, Prince was in rehearsal at Paisley Park. Prince cancels rehearsals, sent the band home, and for days locked himself in his bedroom and wouldn't come out and really didn't talk to people.
The first line of that song is, "Your butt is mine."
Your butt is mine.
Now I said, who gonna sing that to whom? Cause you sure ain't singing it to me. And I sure ain't singing it to you. So right there we got a problem.
What if Prince knew exactly who was responsible for Michael Jackson's death? It sounds wild, but it's not as far-fetched as it seems. Even though the media tried to paint them as rivals, Prince and Michael were actually closer than most people think. Behind the scenes, they shared secrets, fears, and even warnings about the people they didn't trust in the industry. And that's just the beginning. Here's the real shocker. Michael Jackson had a secret diary. Yeah, a whole private journal where he allegedly dropped names, exposed shady plans, listed out his fears, and even included receipts. But guess what? That diary vanished into thin air right after he died. Like poof, gone. No trace of it anywhere. Are we supposed to believe that's just a coincidence? Or did someone make sure it disappeared so his truth never got out? We're diving deep into what Prince might have known. And trust, it's way more intense than anyone imagined. So let's rewind a bit. Michael died back in 2009 at just 50 years old. He was getting ready for his big This Is It comeback tour. But instead of performing, he was found dead after a fatal dose of propofol and benzodiazepines given by his own doctor, Conrad Murray. But here's the eerie part. In the weeks leading up to his death, Michael was writing in that secret diary. And what he wrote? It wasn't just dreams or songs. He talked about wanting to be remembered forever and dropped hints that he feared something bad was coming. Michael wasn't just dreaming about fame. He wanted to be immortalized like a Hollywood legend. In his diary, he reportedly said he wanted to become a big screen icon. And even after death, his goal was to have Broadway producers turn his life into a major production. He had plans to become the first multi-billionaire entertainer who would act, direct, and run it all. That's the level of ambition he had. He also wrote about how he relied heavily on Dr. Conrad Murray, yes, that same doctor who later got dragged through court and had his license taken for giving him the prescription meds he used to sleep. Michael trusted this man, but clearly that trust led him down a dark path. And Michael wasn't just focused on performing, he had big business dreams too. He wanted to launch his own brand of merch, including soda and even cookies. He was mapping out how to stack $20 million a week. That's right, every week. He was seriously considering epic shows like Cirque du Soleil-style concerts and brand deals with huge names like Nike. He had a whole empire in mind. But then the diary gets dark, real dark. Michael wrote that he felt someone was stalking him, someone trying to take him out. In his own words, he wrote, "Evil people everywhere. They want to destroy me and take over my publishing company. The system wants to destroy me for my catalog. I'm not selling it." That's some deep paranoia. Or maybe it wasn't paranoia at all.
It's been, the record companies really, really do conspire against their artists. They steal, they cheat, they do whatever they can, especially the black artists. Tommy Mottola. Tommy Mottola is the president of the record division. He is he's a racist, and he's very, very, very devilish.
Michael had always been loud about protecting his music rights, and the diary just confirmed how serious it was. His family backed that up too. His sister LaToya said flat out she didn't buy the official story. She believed something shady went down and that Dr. Murray was just the fall guy in a much bigger setup. LaToya didn't hold back. She said straight up that Michael told her he felt his life was in danger because they were coming for his catalogs.
I am an innocent man. I therefore plead not guilty. Thank you.
I truly feel that Conrad Murray is simply the fall guy. This was definitely something that was premeditated, that they had planned to do, and they planned to take my brother out, and my brother knew it. And that's why he told me repeatedly and repeatedly and repeatedly that this was going to happen to him. He explained it to me. He explained it's because of my catalog, which is my publishing, and they're after it, and they want it, and they want their hands on it, and they want to take it away from me. So Michael developed this love-hate relationship.
And when you connect the dots, it gets even more suspicious. Because guess who else went to war over the exact same thing? Prince. Prince wasn't playing when it came to owning his own music. When he started demanding control over his masters, they didn't just shut the door, they slammed it in his face. They tried to silence him, frustrate him, and lock him down in contracts that kept his name and music out of his hands. So what did he do? He went full rebellion mode, stepping out in public with the word slave written across his face. That was a bold move, and it spoke volumes about how deep this fight really was. Prince was signed to Warner Brothers, and because of that deal, they basically owned everything tied to the name Prince. That's why he pulled a legendary power move. He changed his name to a symbol and started being called the artist formerly known as Prince.
Well, it's not your game. You didn't make the rules, so everything comes hard. And as long as you're signed to a contract, you're going to take a minority share of the winnings. A select few of us will do well. The majority will not. So as a people, we'll be considered a minority. But stop. Let's take a moment and look at yourselves. There's nothing minor about you. You are a blessed people. You're the most talented on earth, and you are still grateful. That is why upon winning in their game, you always thank God. Tonight I would like to ask one favor of you. Imagine what we'll all be like in our own game. Peace and love for one another.
He wanted out, and he wasn't quiet about it. In a raw interview with Paper Mag, Prince broke it down. I wanted to buy my masters back from Warner Brothers. They said, no way, so I'm going to re-record them, all of them. Now you'll have two catalogs with pretty much exactly the same music, except mine will be better. And you can either give your money to WB or to NPG. You choose. That's a real chess move. So now think about it. Both Michael and Prince were fighting to control their music, protect their legacies, and keep their catalogs from the hands of big corporations. And you can bet they had conversations about it behind closed doors. They were dealing with the same pressures and possibly the same power players pulling strings in the background. Now, sure, some people swear Michael and Prince were rivals. That beef was real, right? The tension goes all the way back to 1985 when Michael invited Prince to join We Are the World. Prince refused. Then in 1987, Michael wanted Prince to duet with him on Bad and be in the music video, but Prince passed on that too, and the role went to Wesley Snipes instead.
You know, that Wesley Snipes character, that would have been me. All right, now you run that video in your mind. The first line of that song is, your butt is mine.
Your butt is mine.
Now I said, who gonna sing that to whom? Cause you sure ain't singing it to me. And I sure ain't singing it to you. So right there we got a problem.
Still, just because there was some ego involved doesn't mean they didn't understand each other's battles. Back in the late 80s, Michael didn't hold back when he talked about Prince, especially during an interview while working on his 1988 Moonwalk memoir. He made it clear he wasn't a fan of the way Prince treated him. Michael said, I have proven myself since I was real little. He feels like he's my opponent. I hope he changes because, boy, he's gonna get hurt. Then it got even more intense. Michael allegedly added that Prince was the type who might do something to himself. That comment alone had people raising eyebrows. Michael also called Prince straight up rude, one of the rudest people he had ever met. He claimed Prince was not only cold to him, but was also disrespectful toward the entire Jackson family. Prince is very competitive. He has been very mean and nasty to my family, Michael reportedly said. That tension, it wasn't just media hype, it was real and personal. And then there's the ping pong story that still has fans talking. According to former sound engineer David Z, there was a day when Michael stopped by to see Prince at a studio in LA What started off chill turned into an unexpected showdown at the ping pong table. Prince wasn't just playing, he was trash talking. He allegedly kept teasing Michael with jabs like, "Come on, Michael, get into it." And even taunted, "You want me to slam it?" Michael, clearly not into the heat, dropped his paddle and put his hands up like, "Nah, I'm out." He left with his bodyguard. But Prince, he didn't let it go. David Z said Prince started strutting around the studio like he'd just won a championship match, mocking, "Did you see that? He played like Helen Keller." But that wasn't the only time the tension spilled out. Esquire and Rolling Stone contributing editor Steve Knopper remembered another wild moment, this time told to him by will.i.am. He claimed that during Prince's Vegas residency in the late 2000s, Michael, who was also living in Vegas, got pulled into some serious drama involving Prince's unpredictable behavior. The rivalry? It was layered with ego, shade, and years of behind-the-scenes chaos. Will was caught right in the middle, close with both Prince and Michael. During Prince's Vegas residency, Will helped set up a quiet little guest visit. Michael was going to watch the show from the audience, low-key. Nobody else knew, but Prince knew. Oh, he knew exactly where Michael was sitting. At one point during the concert, Prince stepped off the stage, bass in hand, and strutted right into the crowd. And not just anywhere, he made a beeline straight for Michael. Then, out of nowhere, he started slapping the bass right in Michael's face. Aggressive, loud, like it was some kind of showdown. That wasn't just a musical moment, that felt personal. The next morning, Will went over to Michael's place for breakfast, and you already know it came up. Michael was still heated. He asked, "Will, why do you think Prince was playing bass in my face?" He couldn't believe it. And according to what Steve Knopper was told, Michael didn't hold back. He started going off. He called Prince a big meanie and said, "He's always been not nice to me." Michael was clearly tired of being underestimated. He went on to vent saying people always hype Prince up like some genius Renaissance man while reducing him to just a song and dance man. But Michael reminded Will, "I wrote Billie Jean. I wrote We Are the World. I'm a songwriter too." He wanted credit where it was due. So where did all this tension really start? Word is, it all goes back to 1983. That night when James Brown called Michael Jackson on stage during a live performance. The crowd went crazy. Michael was already a global icon. Thriller had dropped and he was on top of the world. Meanwhile, Prince was still rising. He hadn't dropped Purple Rain yet, but he was gaining buzz. That moment, it may have lit the fuse on a rivalry that never really cooled off. After Michael lit up the stage with his signature dance moves, he told James Brown to bring Prince up too. What followed was chaotic. Prince stepped up with his guitar, ready to show out, but something felt off. The vibe wasn't there. He wasn't connecting with the crowd. Then, in true Prince fashion, he stripped off his shirt mid-performance. But things went from awkward to downright wild when he mistook a stage lamppost for a prop and crashed straight into the audience. Total wipeout. That moment, easily one of the most embarrassing things that ever happened to Prince on stage. And according to insiders, he left that performance furious, convinced that Michael had set him up. Quincy Jones even spilled some serious tea in an interview. After the show, Prince was so angry, he waited outside in MJ's limo with plans to run him over. And get this, Michael apparently knew what Prince was thinking and kept his distance like his life depended on it. So yeah, in public it seemed like these two were locked in a never-ending ego war. But behind closed doors, the story's way different. Reports say Michael and Prince were actually much closer than anyone realized. In fact, they were both fighting for the same thing: creative freedom, ownership, and power over their art. And through all the mess, they found common ground. Prince's former bodyguards even confirmed that the two kept a low-key friendship, totally off the media radar. Michael had reportedly visited Paisley Park multiple times, where they'd hang out, play games, and just vibe away from the spotlight. They were also known to pop up backstage at each other's concerts. And here's the kicker. Before Dangerous dropped, Michael allegedly gave Prince a sneak peek of the final cut inside his private studio. Prince listened, and according to sources, he told Michael he loved it. So while the world saw beef, maybe what really existed was two musical giants walking a tightrope between rivalry and respect. So here's the twist. MJ and Prince, they were actually friends, real ones. They laughed, talked, hung out like regular dudes, just chilling, no cameras, no pressure. but they kept it all behind the scenes. Why? Because the industry loved painting them as enemies. The media was constantly pushing that rivalry narrative, so they played it cool in public. But the truth, Prince once said Michael called him personally to give him deep career advice. Michael even called Prince a legend. That right there shows a whole different side to their connection. One built on respect, not competition. And when Michael passed, Prince was hit hard. He felt that loss deeply. So much so, he started adding "Don't Stop Till You Get Enough" to his live performances as a tribute. That wasn't just for show. He was mourning someone he truly cared about. Journalist Tavis Smiley, who was close to Prince, shared what he said was Prince's real reaction to MJ's death during a 2016 interview with Extra, and it gave people a glimpse into just how much Prince was shaken.
I've never said this publicly. When the news came that Michael had died, Prince was in rehearsal at Paisley Park. Prince cancels rehearsals, sent the band home, and for days locked himself in his bedroom and wouldn't come out and really didn't talk to people.
So maybe, just maybe, Michael confided in Prince more than any of us ever knew. Behind the fame, the screaming fans, and the glittering stages, these were two men trying to send a message. And maybe Prince was one of the only people who actually heard it. And let's not brush past this. Both legends died under strange, shadowy circumstances. Michael was just days away from a massive comeback with his This Is It tour. Prince, reports say he was in great shape, feeling strong, and then suddenly gone from an unexpected overdose. Too many questions, not enough answers. Now ask yourself this: why did so many people close to Michael and Prince say they looked scared in their final days? What were they sensing? And more importantly, who stood to gain the most by keeping them quiet forever? If Michael left behind that secret diary, could Prince have done the same? Did he leave us a hidden message too? It's hard to believe these two geniuses didn't see what was coming. And honestly, it wouldn't be shocking if they had deep conversations about who they were really scared of, names they never dared say out loud. So now it's your turn. Drop your thoughts in the comments. What do you really think happened to Michael and Prince? Who do you believe had a hand in their downfall? Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss what's coming next. See you in the next one.